Good morning. My name is Prakash Puram. I'm from Minneapolis, originally from Tamil Nadu. I'm from Madras city, and my uncle, Mr. Sri V. Venugopal, was one of the early contributors to Dr. Badrinath's effort in building this divine hospital for helping people with the ailments of the eye and ophthalmological problems. And the hospital administration has asked me to narrate a very significant event that is hard to explain, but clearly implies divine intervention, and I'll do this as succinctly as I can. So I was one Christmas Eve, 24th of December in 92 or 93, I forget the exact year, but Dr. Badrinath called me from Chennai and said, Prakash, we need your help. Periyar Sri Sankaracharya Periyar is very sick and ill, and we need a CT scan to be delivered from the US manufacturers. We need one portable CT scan to be delivered immediately to Kanchipuram, to the Sankaracharya Mutt. And I said, Dr. Badrinath, this is a very interesting question. I don't know where I will go between December 24th and January 1st and who I will talk to. And he said, well, the divine force will guide you. And he hung up the phone and left me to my own resources. So I called I did some research and found out there are 4 major manufacturers of CT scans: Picker International, GE, which is General Electric, Siemens, and another company which I forget, but Philips from Netherlands. And all 4 companies had operations in the United States and were based in various parts of the Midwest and East Coast. So on December 24th, on Christmas Eve, I went about to make phone calls to these people, the CEOs of these companies, which is somewhat of a ludicrous idea that the chairman of General Electric, Jack Welch, as popular as he is, would have either call me back or have one of his executive assistants call me. Lo and behold, within 24 hours, I think all 4 CEOs had called me back and said, young man, what is this all about? And I said, there is a very famous God man by the name of Sri Sankaracharya who needs to be diagnosed, and we need a portable CT scan. And they said, who are you and what is the context? We have a war in Iraq going on. This was the first war in Iraq when President Bush Sr. had directed all CT scans to go to Middle East and to Saudi Arabia, and the companies did not have possession of their inventory. All the inventory was promised to the government usage. And so they said, you need to talk to General Frank Kovac or General Norman Schwarzkopf, the 2 major generals, 5-star generals that were conducting the war. And I said, well, they are not going to return my call. So I called the White House and asked for the president's office and left my message. And within 15 minutes, I think General Frank Kovac called me from the Heidelberg headquarters of the US Army and said in a very angry voice, I hope this is not a joke. What do you need? And I said, I'm looking for a CT scan for a very famous religious figure by the name of Sri Sankaracharya. And he said, if it's that important, you should have your president of India call the ambassador of India in US ambassador in New Delhi. And that was the first time I smiled in 48 hours or 72 hours, because that was an easy thing to do. President Venkatraman was a friend at that time. The president of India was a friend of my grandfather, Puram Prakash Rao, and Dr. Badrinath is also very well known to the president, Sri Venkatraman. And so I called Dr. Badrinath and I said, the president has to request it to the US ambassador, and he said we will get it done within minutes. And the US ambassador heard about the request, and he had called General Frank Kovac and said, please send them a machine to Kanchipuram. And within a week, I think the machine arrived. And we then heard from Dr. Badrinath that the neurologist and under Dr. Badri's guidance had completed the diagnosis of Sri Sankaracharya, and Periyar was fine and well at that time, and the machine was packed and put back in its original container. This is just an example of what happens in Sankara Nethralaya. Is there is a divine force guiding things that happen here. people are qualified, there is medical competency, there is technology, there is philanthropic people who give money, but above all there is a divine force that is within the four walls of this organization. And never in my dreams did I imagine that I would be able to find a CT scan in the middle of a war and divert it from Germany or Saudi Arabia to Kanjipuram, but it happened with no effort, with a few phone calls between Christmas and New Year. And to this day it's something that I find hard to believe and hard to imagine, and I've become a major well-wisher of this organization and continue to spread the good word about Sankara Nethralaya to all my friends and colleagues in the US and around the world. Dr. Badri said we should go visit Sri Sankaracharya when my wife and I came and met Periyar in his humble abode, and it was late in the evening. I went right into the bedroom, and he held my hand and he thanked me for the effort, and he said good luck to you and good luck to your family, and he blessed me. And that was a very special event in our family life, because this whole thing is somewhat of a dream, but it's a good dream to have rather than anything else in its place. So thank you for the opportunity.